the name and worship the Spirit of our Lord. Worship the Spirit of our God. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, everybody. There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all by myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through the day, you got to let it go. Let it go. And this is all you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my arms are open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I'll see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my arms are open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I'll see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I'm only here for God. I'm only here for God. Like to introduce Mr. Anthony Prado.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. Amazing song, great. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. Because I'm only here for God. No struggling, no striving. Well, welcome to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, where we teach spiritual principles, practices that nourish us, uplift us, and celebrate our oneness with all life. And a great thank you for for that musical introduction to Luke and Care Choice. We are so blessed to have these musicians play for us, and the others, Omega, Cozy, maybe again, to lift our musical spirits. They can take it to another level. Thank you guys. You did another amazing job. And again, we welcome you for joining our Zoom call this morning, and a special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. And just some housekeeping, and we say this every week. In order to maintain our sacred atmosphere this morning, I invite you to please take a moment to make sure your Zoom microphone and your camera are muted or turned off. We want to be. This morning's an especially poignant service, as most of you know. So we want to minimize the background noise as much as we can. Really appreciate that. So first thing we always do as we move into the introduction and announcements is honor the children. And I know we have a slide of this. And we're going to praise and honor and bless our children wherever they are. Boy, the kids in the sanctuary, we're going to be seeing that. Everybody's intention has to be, we're going to be experiencing that again real soon, have kids sitting up on the sanctuary to get our blessing. So please leave your microphone off. We're going to just read this aloud in the privacy and comfort of your own home. We honor all our youth and children in our community and the world. We love you. We see you. You are Spirit's gift to us. Thank you. Thank you for being in our lives. And so it is. Grateful to the kids playing too. That's what joy. Okay, then I've got some announcements this morning. Next Wednesday, Reverend Eloise Oliver, there she is back, and we'll be speaking to our monthly theme of Open to Possibilities. Meditation at 6:30, service at 10 p.m. Reverend E. That's another person we are so honored to have speak at our center. She was the minister at East Bay Church for 20-something years. This is wisdom you don't want to miss. She's always got something deep that you can use and be inspired by. All right, then our next announcements is it's a noontime spiritual meditation, noontime spiritual exploration. Guidance for a spiritual journey is continuing this week and beyond. The Zoom link to join us is on the events page of the website. That is Daniel Lee Morgan, and that is happening at noon. You're welcome to join us for that. The next thing we have is the Women's Spiritual Transformation Group. Continues after services at 12:30. Information again is on the events page. Is that today? Yes, that's today. Looks like 2 more Sundays. Then we have a class that Reverend Jerry is going to be teaching. Meditation is more than you think. If you've been wanting a stronger meditation practice, this is a course for you. Maybe if you don't have it, it's a great class to introduce yourself to meditation. Learn and experience the many forms of meditation. Find out what works for you. This is a 5-week class, again, taught by Reverend Jerry and a special guest. I don't know who that is. Sign up today. Classes, and again, it's online. And there's the early bird registration, $198, full price, $220. I'm not sure what the deadline is for that early bird. That's again a 5-week class. Starts April 6th, like it says. They're going through till May 4th. And then finally, announcement about a bookstore. The Courtyard Sale, Saturday, March 27th. Be there, 10 to 3. The Spiritual Treasure Bookstore under the direction of Linda Wyman. She's holding this Courtyard Sale. It will comply with all health regulations, in case you're concerned about that. If you're willing to help, please email her at bookstore@oaklandcsl.org. Yeah, if you contact the center, and again, you want to volunteer and help her out, find out the email, or somebody at the center will give you her phone number. And if you've missed browsing the bookstore, this is an event to go to. I guess we all miss that bookstore too. So again, Saturday, 10 to 3, and that's in 2 weeks approximately. Again, we have a lot going on here. If you are interested and you'd like to get involved with the center, our recommendation is to contact Constance Chapman. She's our administrative coordinator, and she is at Constance at oaklandcsl.org. Constance at oaklandcsl.org. Check the Village News for links to these events. I'm sure most of you are getting our Thursday Village News email newsletter. And as always, check the website too at oaklandcsl.org for all these events and ongoing events. A lot of things going on, so check it out. And lastly, I would like to read our vision statement, vision and mission statement for the Oakland Center. Right? And again, this is something we can read aloud. On your home, the vision of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is to joyfully reveal the love and oneness of God. We are welcoming and inclusive spiritual community dedicated to individual transformation and collective growth. Our purpose is to love, inspire, and serve our community and the world through education, music, prayer, and play. And at this point, I would like to turn it over to Theresa, who will lead us into a meditation. You all have a blessed week. Take care. God bless.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Wonderful. And the music was just lovely. Good morning, beloveds. Wow, there's so many of us here. How wonderful. Good. Well, my name is Theresa Gardner, and I am a licensed practitioner here at our village, the Oakland Center. And I'm really glad to see everybody. Looking forward to seeing your faces later. So I have a couple of readings for us, like we usually do here. So I invite you to just, let's take a collective breath together. And if you care to close your eyes and settle in. Our first reading is from our Science of Mind textbook by Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, page 418.4. Ignorance stays with us until the day of enlightenment, until our vision toward the spirit broadens and casts out the image of a no longer useful littleness. The will should hold it in place until the creative genius of the inner life transforms the image of limitation and transmutes it into liberty under law. And our second reading by Myrtle Fillmore. You do not have a problem except the one that is in your mind, and you put it there. So settling in into this beloved space, into this one heart, into the beauty and joy, into the heartbeat of the one creator, the one source, into love. This creator of all nature, the mountains and the exquisite rivers that flow to the stars, planets, and beyond. It is that intelligent one that designs everything in such harmony, beauty. And it is the peace of this one that resonates throughout all life. For there is one heartbeat, one right here that breathes each of us here, that breathes all of life in unity, in grace, with ease. And there is nothing missing. It is complete, it is whole, and it is perfect. And it is our life together, right here, right now, in this moment, and the only moment. And it is in this love that I know that we are being called forth here. In love, in beauty, in the nature that God created. That we are being called forth in the wisdom of the One. We come together in this village in wholeness, in love. And Reverend Jeff is right here, present within our hearts, within our minds. For there is this one mind, all knowing, and it's present beyond anything that we can imagine. And we are filled with trust. We are filled with God's grace. It embraces us. And there is a strength, and our faith is renewed beyond what we can imagine. That love unites us and brings us together in one heart, one mind. We breathe together, coming together for the love of life, for the love of this village, for the love of all, and for the love of Reverend Jeff. I know that this service is so blessed. Each one here, each one listening to our word, our message, and our love unites us, unfolds us into a beautiful evolution that lifts the whole planet. I know it is blessed. I claim it as such. And I am so thankful and so grateful that we are here together as love, unified. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. And now, Beauty and Love shows up as our wonderful Kev Choice and Lukman Frank. Thank you.
Thank you. I tried to write a song of truth. Thought it would be simple. Many things like fault and pain way beyond my mind. And all that I know of life and love, as below it is above. The universal good will guide me through. These things I know, but still I learn to be one with all I've learned. Something in my heart says try to give a smile, make a friend, pray a while and learn to stay. Learn to love what's good in me and sing. Seasons change. Learn to love simple, yeah, yeah, yeah. Some will see, some will hide, but surely all will find. Oh, love will show you how to cry. Love will take you to the sky. The universal good will guide you through. All this we know is still we grieve. The changing of the leaves. Something in our heart will try to give a smile. Make a friend. Pray a while and learn to stay. Learn to love the good we see and sing. Seasons change. Oh, learn to love the good we see and sing. Seasons change. Oh, learn to love the good we see and sing. As seasons change. Seasons change. Seasons change. Oh, it changes. Seasons change. The seasons change. Yeah. Seasons change. Seasons change. Introducing Reverend Jerry Carter. Thank you.
I am so full, so enriched by that beautiful music. Thank you both. You are such a blessing, such a blessing. Let's just breathe that in for a moment. So good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Jerry Carter, a staff minister here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living and a member of our ecclesiastical leadership team. And I am so honored and feel so blessed to be a part of this tender and loving day as we honor our beloved Reverend Jeff Anderson and the amazing journey that he is on right now. And as a member of the ELT, we would like to appreciate Reverend Savannah Riker for giving up her Sunday talk today so that we could bring forth this special service. Please know that she will be back with us soon. So I want to bring you up to date because I realize that some people may not have received the post that was sent out to our members on Friday. So on Friday, our ecclesiastical leadership team shared a very special message to our members, which some may not have received. So I'm going to go ahead and read that message now to catch you all up. Dear ones, as you know, Reverend Jeff has been undergoing chemotherapy for a couple of years now. We are so blessed that he was very present at our annual meeting last Friday and shared his experience so tenderly with the village. Earlier this week, we requested prayer for him from our practitioners as Reverend Jeff was experiencing discomfort. In the last couple of days, It was determined by his caregivers that Reverend Jeff may soon be making his transition. Please continue to hold Reverend Jeff and his loved ones in your prayers. The family is requesting no visitors or contact at this time. We are also requesting privacy for him and his family at this delicate time of life. Blessed be. Please direct any inquiries directly to the members of the ecclesiastical leadership team. That would be myself, Reverend Sally Bartholomew, Reverend Tony Bradford, and Constance Chapman. So today is a very special day of recognition and honoring the strength, courage, kind-heartedness, and that loving presence of our beloved Reverend Jeff. We are his village, and he is in our hearts. The ELT desired a day of honoring and prayer because we know how powerful healing prayer is. Our emotions are heightened by the events that are occurring in Reverend Jeff's life. And this touches all of our hearts in a most tender way. Our community has been and continues to be blessed by this great and inspiring divine being known as Reverend Jeff Anderson. Let us take some time together now and share in this lovely video that has been especially prepared for this day of recognition and love. We are all emotionally invested as Reverend Jeff's spiritual family, and this is one of the ways we can come together to support one another. So let's move into our heart space during this sacred time together as we listen to the wisdom of this amazing man who has captured our hearts.
Good morning, everyone. If you can hear what's in the background, you'll probably have a good guess as to where I am. Maybe not specifically, but yes, I am at one of my happy places next to a river. I realized when I was thinking about what to talk about this morning that I'm tired of talking about how to process this thing that we're all going through. And I need a break. I needed a break. And as I experience things for myself, I relate them to everybody else, and it got me thinking maybe we need a break. Maybe you need a break from thinking about how to manage our lives with this new dynamic that we all have to navigate. And I have thoughts. I always have thoughts and ideas, and I'm pretty good at research and finding things of value, hopefully, to contribute. But sometimes it's not about mentalizing. Sometimes it's about reconnecting to the things that you love. And this is one of the things that I love. And I thought, well, what's the most valuable thing that I can contribute perhaps to your experience this morning? Maybe it's something that I love very much, and that is a river. And so I invite you just to take a breath and take a minute or two. Oh gosh, I wish you could smell this air and feel the boulder that I'm sitting on. You've got it still good, and the world is still a beautiful place. Good thing for us to remember. So take a breath, enjoy the view, have a blessed day. Have a good week, everyone. Blessed be.
I will tell you something. I want to share with you something that I noticed as this meeting has unfolded, and that is the knack that I or we as a community have for attracting the perfect people for the perfect job at the perfect time. I don't know if y'all noticed as we ran through all of the people that are in such high service here. It's a pretty impressive list of folks and a pretty impressive group of minds and hearts that come together and to serve. So what we have accomplished along the way is to move this, to cultivate the sense of the community as the members. It's not the community as the senior minister. And I mean, we went through an hour and a half without the senior minister being mentioned. I couldn't help but notice that. And the fact is that through thick and thin, through high and low, for quite some time now, what this community has learned about itself is that it can weather whatever comes along. The universe rises to meet our footsteps as we take them. And that means that it doesn't always let us know in advance how things are going. Certainly in this case, it has not seen fit to send me the pamphlet complete with outcomes and directions and instructions on how to feel and how to think and what to choose. As Robert mentioned, we really are taking things as they come, and we're doing so from a place of faith. We know that whatever happens, this village is going to be fine. We've proved that to ourselves time and time and time again. And concurrently, I can still get, and we collectively can still get a little twitchy around the mystery, the mystery of life. And yet, certainly we should know by now that we're not going to have it all figured out in this lifetime. I certainly don't. This is the wildest ride that I have ever experienced or anticipated experiencing in this lifetime. I can tell you that my feelings and emotions are all over the board. Interestingly enough, the prevalent thing that I'm feeling is sadness. I'm really pissed at the universe occasionally, at the possibility that my experience of this amazing thing that we call life may be shorter than I had anticipated. That would suck in my mind and my heart, and yet what's unfolding before us is only God, and it's perfect, and it's whole and complete.
Yes.
In my life right now.
Yes.
So we're in a heck of a position here, folks, and we stand together as we have always done. And I can't tell you how grateful I am. In fact, in the gratitude list, I kind of missed an opportunity there. And I'm glad we spoke to the practitioners, but I want to speak to the board and lift them up for my own gratitude. They have stepped in and stepped up, and they are the perfect people at the perfect time for the perfect job. We're okay, and that doesn't mean that I and or we are not going to go through times, periods, days, weeks of uncertainty, of fear, of anger. I was once told by a teacher that a crisis of faith wasn't telling us that there was something wrong. It was telling us perhaps that our faith was not big enough. And so here I am, standing in faith. It's not the way I wanted to show up for you guys. That's part of the sadness. And part of what pisses me off, I've got stuff to do yet. we've got stuff to do yet as a village. And the good news is that work is going to continue come hell or high water, because you all are the perfect people. We all are the perfect people at the perfect time. I don't know how this thing is going to unfold. I don't think of it as fighting so much as I think of it as living, showing up and living. And in my heart and soul, it's what I'm here to do. It's what I'm here to be, is to live for as long as the universe sees fit, to breathe my breath and beat my heart and dream my dreams. I'm here to do that and to be that. I told you when I first came on board that you were going to have the best season of my life. And that's one thing that I have accomplished. I've given you the best that I have, and there's more. I think about how well Polly doesn't allow us to forget those who have come before us and whose shoulders upon which we stand. And I think about that every day. And these are the shoulders of people, not only past, but present. Boy, I think about one of the first times I saw Deborah Jackson, and she was in there with the cleaning crew, with Polly. And I thought, wow, I don't know who she is, but I want what she has. We got a lot of that in our village. We may not always get along with each other. We may not always agree with each other, but God dang it, we love each other to pieces. And what I've learned as well, what I've learned again and again and again, is that love is the greatest power and nothing can stand before it. And it doesn't matter whether I'm here or not. This village is built on a foundation that is now strong and very well. Thank you very much, because of all of us. And that's not going to change. We've created this, and we will continue to co-create this as it evolves and expands and turns into something even greater than we have yet to see. So that's what I know at the moment. We've got another few months in this medical leave of absence, to see what happens when we dial back on some of the serious chemotherapies and let me get my feet back underneath me energetically and physiology and emotionally as well. And so that's what I'm in the process of doing. And as Robert pointed out, I can't tell the future any more than you or anybody else can. But I'll be around to see it until my last breath and until the last beat of my heart. And I'm so grateful that you're the people that I get to walk this path with. We get to walk it with each other, whatever the stuff that we're going through. There's a whole village of folks. I'm finding out the depth of the hearts that we have in this community. It's quite impressive. We're quite an impressive bunch of folks. So that's what I know. Robert and I were talking this last week, and I've talked with a few other people, and the question on my mind is, what do I say? And the answer, as always, is come back to what you do know. What we don't know could baffle us and paralyze us in our tracks for the rest of our days. But what I do know is that God is all there is. So that's what I got for now. Any thoughts or questions? I will ask you for a couple of things. One is to keep me in your thoughts and your prayers, and to keep our center in your thoughts and prayers. Just know the perfection that already is. We're not creating anything. We're not attracting anything. We're not doing a whole lot except knowing what we know. God is all there is. Love is the greatest power. And we're going to come through this no matter what happens. I forgot the other thing that I know. God is all there is. Love is the greatest power. That's about it.
Okay.
And that's enough to get us through, you see. It's enough to get us through. We don't have to figure all this stuff out. We never have been, and we never will. And that's okay. That's why they call it faith. And so here we stand in faith in the eternal, loving presence of Spirit within which we all abide. And we do it together, regardless of time or space. Love is not limited by time and space. So keep the faith. We're still all in it together. I love you very much.
We love you too, Reverend Jeff. Love is the greatest power. God is the greatest power. And we do apologize for the transmission. We have tested it, and if you'll follow the chat, it is available on the YouTube video channel. So I encourage you to go back and just be with Reverend Jeff's words. And I know you could all feel his energy and looking at his beautiful soul. So Reverend Sally's now going to join me. Hi, Reverend Sally.
Good morning, Reverend Jerry. Good morning, everyone. So what we'd like to do now is let's first just take a couple of breaths together and be with that marvelous soul that we call Reverend Jeff. Feeling into this heart space, placing ourselves in our imagination right there with him, alongside that river that he loves so much. And as we open our hearts and our minds to that opportunity to be with Reverend Jeff, I'd like to take us into a time of sharing, like we do on our Wednesday night services. Our original question was going to be, and I will type it into the chat here, for those of you who were able to hear some of what he said, we were asking the question, what nugget of wisdom from Rev Jeff's talk are you taking away that will sustain you during this time of change? And another question that we might open up is, what does Rev Jeff mean to you? So the way I would like to do this moving forward, I would like to ask you to use your reaction buttons, and I will monitor the screen, and the tech team in the back will help me monitor the screen to see if there's anyone who's wanting to share in this moment what Rev Jeff means for them. And I see and acknowledge Christine Anderson. Unmute yourself, Christine, and then go ahead and share.
Rev Jeff holds such a dear place in my heart. I recently moved to San Diego, which is why I haven't seen you guys in a while, but I was unpacking boxes and I found this picture of him and me after I got my practitioner license. And this is like the formal fancy one of me, but I don't know if you remember, on that day, it was Halloween and he blessed me in the tutu and the little angel, halo hat. And it was like, that was Reverend Jeff, is Reverend Jeff, that quirky, funny sense of humor, and so sweet, just, the sweetness and the humor. Like, I've had many a great conversation with him, about life and myself and the teens and the future and the youth. And he gave me this little stone that I still have. It's white, that just says peace. And it's a pocket stone. So, when I was stressed at work, to just remind myself of peace and nature. Reverend Jeff has always talked about healing nature and how funny and perfect and frustrating that the river sound was in the background. It was like that's him being funny all over again. We're trying so hard to be perfect and hear the sound, and he's just reminding us to laugh and play, and life is imperfect, and to embrace that. So I just want to, he's in my heart, and that I am complete. Thank you for letting me share.
Blessed be, Christine. Thank you. Jennifer Johns, I see you've got your hand up.
Hey guys, I don't have a specific story besides that there were so many Sunday mornings that I would come to church and needed him.
Yes.
And didn't even, didn't know it. And I think that, my dad says something a lot that the test comes before the lesson sometimes, so you don't always know what you're getting in the moment. And I was always grateful for him, but just looking back, I think that, and you know, through this pandemic, the appreciation of this community in particular. I love you guys so much. So thank you so much, Reverend Jeff, for your service. Thank you for your love. Thank you for bopping around to me, singing with no shoes, and for supporting me in ways that you'll never know.
Thank you, Jennifer. And I see that there are some individuals also placing comments in the chat. I encourage you to do that in case we run out of time for folks to share. We won't have all day. We could take all day for everyone to share their love. So I encourage you to also use the chat feature. And right now I'm recognizing Cheryl Archer. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Cheryl.
Yeah, Reverend Jeff was such a grounding force. He unified and pulled people together. There was just a magic about him in terms of moving our spiritual community forward, unifying us in terms of how to present as a village and be strong as a village and rectify some of our past financial difficulties. He just was a polarizing, wonderful force and such a great influence. I love him to pieces. I can't imagine having to be without him, but I will hold him in my heart so that he can always be with me. Thank you. I love you, Reverend Jeff.
Thank you, Cheryl. So I'm looking in the chat, and I would like to read Susan Robinson's comments in here. She's from the Santa Rosa Center for Spiritual Living, and she says, so much love pouring out right now for Reverend Jeff and the OCSL community and his beloved family. Reverend Jeff has been my friend and mentor for many years. What I am taking with me today is the mantra, God is all there is, and love is the greatest power. Thank you, Susan. I'm not seeing anyone else's hands. I will read Sage's comment. All right, so Sage typed in the chat, I am a sliver in the pie chart of Reverend Jeff's life. I don't know about that. And what a tremendous sliver in my life he was, to be able to ground and anchor me in the love and beautiful nature of life, never spiritually bypassing, always present. Thank you, Sage. Judith Franglass, I see that you've got your video on. What would you like to say?
From the very first moment when he was candidating, and in the middle or more than one time during his talk, he said, bless your hearts. And he touched his heart, and he also touched his head. And I thought, okay, you're my minister. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Judith. Thank you. Anyone else? We have a moment or two left here.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Barbara. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm really feeling this deeply. Jeff has taught me how to really serve the community, to serve from a selfless place, a place of depth and love. And he was so deep, and his heart, he could really see who everybody is. And he really saw you, and I could feel that. And I loved his quirkiness, and in the back with all the sorry, with all the people serving, he would always give that look, that funny look. And he was so wonderful. And he really taught me how to delegate and how to really love from a place of depth. And I really am going to miss him. And I know he's with us in his spirit. But I just wanted to just say how fortunate we've been as a center to have him to teach us all that at a very deep level. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barbara. I will actually share, and then I have 2 more readings in the chat that I may get to, but I'd like to share when we were doing, and emotions are high, when we were doing the consciously creating community with crafts, and it was Wednesday nights. We started about 5 o'clock in the evenings, and we gathered in the nursery. And so there were, I'd say anywhere from 5 to 10 of us in there with our little crochet hooks and our yarn. And we were just hanging out and building community. And Reverend Jeff would come over before he'd leave for the afternoon, and he wouldn't pick up a crochet hook or any of the yarn, but he sat there with us. And he was part of that beloved community right there, just holding the space, giving us his love, allowing us to be who we were and to share with him on an intimate level. And I am so grateful for that. Yeah. So let me look in the, I see Dorothy's got her mic off. Go ahead, Dorothy.
I have a story to tell. When Reverend Jeff first came to our community, he was going to go up to visit his mom, like leave on a Thursday, and he'd come back in time for Sunday service. But he had this jacket that he had taken to the cleaners, and he wouldn't get back in time to pick up the jacket so he could wear it Sunday. So I said, well, Reverend Jeff, I'll pick it up for you, you know. He said, yeah, Dorothy, and you can bring it by my house. And I said, no, Reverend Jeff, I can't bring it by your house. You're a single man. You can't have women run into your house with clothes. I said, I will bring it by the church, and you will have it on Sunday morning for your spanking. So he just left. He said, I didn't think about that. But I said, no, women cannot run to your house when you, especially when you're not there. And then once Monday, of course, the circle of prayer is on Monday, and he was getting ready to leave, and he said something about, I'm hungry. I haven't had any lunch. I said, what do you mean? You've been here all day? You haven't had any lunch? So the following Monday, I bought him Trader Joe's Caesar salad, and he likes those peanut butter crackers. And so one Sunday, I would do this every Monday so that he would, he probably ended up having it for dinner. But one day, I think I bought him a Santa Fe salad. And then for some reason, the following call, I said, what do you want me to bring you for lunch? He said, we can continue with that Caesar salad from Trader Joe's. So I said, okay, I guess you didn't like that Santa Fe salad from Trader Joe's. But him and his peanut butter crackers, I made sure, even on Sundays, he would have his peanut butter crackers. He loved peanut butter. So I love him, and he knows that. And that's so important to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he also loves all of you, and I want you all to know that. He loves you all.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. And I see Reverend Savannah's got her hand up, and then Elena. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So I want to just put into the room the thought that grief, as I wrote in my comments here, takes many forms. And I think for a lot of us, I'll speak for myself, it just feels very surreal. And I'm not in my process at a place yet where I want to memorialize Reverend Jeff's life, because he's still very present with us. He's still here. So I think in terms of like what I want to say, and just for anyone else on the call who is feeling this, there's a process, like grief is a process. And I, in my own process, am still coming to terms with the isness and the reality of what's happening. And with that comes a lot of emotion. So I find myself in a lot of mixed emotions, because being on this, in this service today, for me personally, I'm not at a place in my process yet where I want to talk about my memories with Reverend Jeff, because I'm still coming to terms with what it is. And so I wanted to just put that out there to anyone else who might be feeling that way, that it's completely okay not to be quite there yet, because I can't rush that. I feel, someone mentioned on the chat that they are too much in their grief to be able to talk, which is a little bit how I'm feeling right now, which is why my voice is so shaky, because I'm still taking this in. So I just wanted to put that in the room, that it's totally okay for wherever we are in this process to show up here. And that Reverend Jeff is very much still here, and he's still in this room with us. I'm complete.
Thank you, Reverend Savannah. And absolutely, Reverend Jeff is still very much here, and we are loving him up this morning. Elena, go ahead.
Let me start my video. Just first want to thank Reverend Savannah for that, the idea that everyone is going through their unique process, even as we go through this together. The way that he's been very present for me lately is that Lucian and I are actually taking a class in spiritual leadership, when they asked for, talk about an example from all of your life of a great spiritual leader. Both of us had our hands up immediately with examples about Reverend Jeff. The first thing that, one of the things that's coming to me now, is one of the first things I noticed about him when I took classes with him, was that every time I said something, he didn't just do that, thank you for sharing thing. He would take what I said and take it in and wrap it in something bigger. And he had that way of doing that with people that made each person feel like in that moment, like they were valuable, their contribution was valuable. I loved how I used to joke with him that in his email, he needed a special folder just for suggestions from me. I don't know if he ever did that, but I love, one of the things, other things I'm taking with me and being present with right now is that spirit of yes he always brought. If I, had a concern, a question, a suggestion, it was always yes. Yes, we can look into that. Yes, let's work on that. Yes, I will look at that and get back to you. Yes, I mean, it was always that yes spirit. So those are the things that have been really present with me lately about wanting to emulate him. I think that's it. I think I'm complete.
Thank you, Elena. So as we are nearing the end of our service here, what I'd like to let you know, and I know Theresa will reiterate this as well, is we have a full house of practitioners and ministers willing to stay for prayer, to support the community. I see that, Peter, you had a heart up. Let me know if you would like to speak before I hand it over to Theresa. You'll have to unmute yourself if you want to.
Oh, thank you. I just sending out, responding to the love that everyone had. Just Jeff, I loved visiting with him on Monday mornings when I was down there to do some other work, and he always listened. He was always there, and that'll be with me forever. Thank you all.
Thank you, Peter. All right, so I will hand it back to Reverend Jerry to close us out in prayer.
So I just want to remind us all before we go into prayer that this is one of the most sacred journeys of all of life. And we are all embarking on it together as a spiritual family. And yes, we are all in the right and perfect place, exactly where we need to be at this point in time. As we continue to send love, love, love to Reverend Jeff and his family. But for now, let's close our eyes and go within. Let's just take a deep breath, breathing in all the beauty and the peace and the harmony and the love and the light that has been shared here, just knowing there is only one divine power and presence. And as we breathe it in, we are breathing in all of life, acknowledging the Mother, Father, God presence that exists, that surrounds us, that is with us each step of the way. This presence that is boundless and ageless. This presence that is infinite and everywhere surrounding us. This universal presence, known as God, but known as many names. It is powerful and it is almighty. It is absolute. It is supreme. So there is only one. And how good it is to know that we are collectively connected to this power and presence, and that individually we are imbued with all the magnificent qualities of the one, these amazing qualities of the divine, the qualities of love that have been spoken of so beautifully today, of wholeness, of goodness, of abundance and peace, clarity and wisdom, and joy, and so much more. So as we continue to breathe, I, Reverend Jerry, claim and accept and know all who are present on our prayer list this day. And I'm knowing for this month's nonprofit partner, Prescott Theater, whose mission is to empower and engage youth as they develop confidence, teamwork, perseverance, artistic talent, and a dedication to working for success through the training and unique curriculum and a safe environment. And as always, we pray for our planet, Mother Earth. We are grateful for her beauty and her resilience and our increasingly mindful stewardship of her. And we bless the youth and the youth of the world, knowing they are guarded by the loving mind and heart of Spirit. And blessing those in service, creating a world that works for everyone. And love, comfort, and healing for all of those impacted by challenges in whatever form. And for our beloved Reverend Jeff, knowing that the love and light of the divine is embracing him and his family with a peace that passes all understanding. And for continued healing and knowing that all good thoughts we think he is receiving from us today and every day, because of the depth of his consciousness. He is always connected to his village, this family, as we are always connected to him. And we continue in prayer, holding the high watch for Anthony and Katie Prado, for Dana Hannah, for Dodie Baker, for Greg and Bobby, for Mary Percy, Brianna Dawson, Leela Phyllis and Wallace, for Mr. and Mrs. John Roselle Jr. and family. Knowing that God's grace and love is surrounding them all during times of challenge. And also for all who have been impacted in any way by the pandemic or any type of setbacks. So, knowing this to be the truth, we know peace and comfort in our hearts for anyone who is experiencing loss this day. So I invite you now, the congregation, to speak the name or names of anyone in your heart that is in need of a prayer. And let us take a moment to allow those names to flow into the peace, the comfort, and the beauty of this sacred space. So as the names continue to be spoken, and they can be spoken anytime, anywhere in the sacredness of our own heart, our own space, we just claim and accept and know that all prayer is answered prayer. We are grateful for the guidance and the goodness of the divine power and presence within us. We are grateful for our time together. It is cherished time, this time of richness, of honoring, of gratitude, this time of tenderness and love. How good it is. So I now release these words into that universal law of mind, the law that always takes care of our heart's desires, the law that always says yes to all of our earthly needs, knowing that God's grace and love is forever giving, that God's grace and love is ever present each step of the way. So as we lean into that joy, that love, that light, we know that we are always guided and guarded, directed and protected by a God that knows only good. So we let it be now, and please join me in saying, and so it is. Taking a breath. Okay. So it's time to move into our sacred giving time. Our center will be preparing to open at some point in time. So we have been doing quite well with the givingness of spirit, the givingness that's coming from your hearts. And as we prepare to open our center, we're not quite sure when that will be, but we know that it will take more activity of abundance to continue to create and expand and grow and support each other in this spiritual center. So as you give, I actually encourage you all right now to turn on your cameras, look at yourselves in a gallery view, because when we give, we are giving to each other. Let us remember that when we give, we are giving to each other. And it is such a blessing. Thank you, beloveds. I believe we have a slide. So let us all recite, "This gift I give is God in action. It does good work in the world and blesses creation." So Oakland Center has made it very, very easy to give. We have text to give. We have the website. We have the good old-fashioned ways to give. And we hope that you will consider a beautiful gift to our center to continue to support everything that's happening right here and right now. So I just wanted to make one announcement that right after service, we are going to go directly into the prayer rooms. So just thank you all for being here, and thank you all for making this such a rich opportunity for us to reach out to Reverend Jeff and surround him and embrace him in love. So I'm going to turn our time back over to Theresa Gardner, practitioner and ministerial student. Theresa?
Thank you, Jerry.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you to the musicians, Kev Choice and Lukeman Frank. It's been really beautiful to be with you here today, coming together like this. I'm really grateful. I'm quite touched. So please, don't go away with something on your heart. You know, there's plenty of us here that would love to pray with you. We love to pray. And if it's not today, you can go to our website, and we have many practitioners that are here for a complimentary 30-minute session with you. So take that in as a gift so we can support you. We really, really are grateful for our community here, and we come together in love. So we have an affirmation. If you'd like to repeat after me or repeat with me, the more I release, the more good I experience. So here we go with our wonderful Kev and Luke. Thank you so much.
Yes, and just sending special love to Reverend Jeff and all the names spoken during prayer, knowing that he is in divine right order. He is divine right healing. We love you, Reverend Jeff, and we love everyone. And we are blessed to have you. Blessed always to have you in our lives.
Oh, the blessing. Oh, the blessing. Oh, the blessing. Oh, the blessing. What God has done.
Hey, if you want to turn your cameras on so everyone can be seen, please sing with us as well. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surrounds us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surrounds us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Say amen. Say amen. Say
Blessed be. Thank you so much, Kev Choice and Luke Mon. Kev, would you like to say something? Just okay.
No, just blessings to everybody. Peace and blessings to everybody. Yeah, just sending love to Rev Jeff. I still feel his presence and energy. I'm praying for him, praying for everybody. We just gotta keep spreading love with each other and being there for each other, communicating with each other, being open with each other. It's a blessing to be here. Give it up for Luke again today. And yeah, much love to everybody. It's been a beautiful morning just being here with y'all. So I appreciate everybody here and all of the extra people who came today too. So much love to everybody. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kev. Thanks, everyone. All right, practitioners, I'm opening the prayer rooms. Those who are requesting prayer, please use your reaction buttons so that I can place you into a room with a practitioner.